was about 11-ish, maybe 12. I got off the school bus one day and walked home. By the time I got home, I was hot and needed to use the bathroom. Our house was small. Think 1950s style brick home, the US Southeast in a quiet rural neighborhood. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, kitchen, living room. So not many places for anyone to hide, and I walked in the back door and sat my books down and immediately headed for the bathroom. I'm sitting on the toilet on this nice sunny day, just doing my thing, and I hear my name called from outside the door, and the voice sounded as if it came from the end of the short hallway that runs down the middle of the house. The voice called me by my childhood nickname and sounded like my mom. Only my mom was at work, and I was completely alone. I froze. I didn't know what to do, as I was absolutely sure there was a burglar in the house. I finished as quickly as possible and went over to the bathroom door, sure that when I opened it, I was going to find some woman in the house. I looked to my right and to my left, and there was no one there. I got out of the house and waited outside for my mom to get home. When she pulled into the driveway, I told her what had happened, and she checked the house and there was nobody there. She said, I was hearing things and it was all in my mind. Maybe it was. I was in the 7th or 8th grade I was home alone in the same house. My parents were gone for the day and it was a weekend. It was cold and dreary outside, and I decided to do homework. I sat down at the kitchen table and laid out my books and notebook. To my left in the small house was the hallway. If you walk down the hallway on the right side is the bathroom, and then my bedroom. On the left side of the hallway is my parents' bedroom and my brother's bedroom. That's it. Small house. My brother worked all the time and was a lot older, so he wasn't home either. The house was dead silent. The house had that midday low-light, hazy, dreary lighting effect to it due to the weather, and not a lot of windows, which added to the peacefulness of the day. I was working on homework, and everything was fine, and I was enjoying. From the end of the hallway to my left, a woman said my name. Again, it was my childhood nickname, and it was clear as day. My blood ran cold and I froze. I looked to my left to the end of the hallway and saw nothing. My jacket was nearby, and in one swift movement, I quietly closed my books and grabbed my jacket. And I started to cry with fear. I headed directly out the back door without looking. I went to the stand-alone garage out back and sat on my dad's red lawnmower and watched the back door to see if anyone came out of the house, although it would be impossible for anyone to be in the house other than myself, because my family were the only people who had been home all day. I sat there shivering for hours until my parents got home. As soon as they pulled into the driveway, I met them and told them what had happened. They checked the house and found nothing and said it was my imagination. My mother still lives in the house, and I live with her to help her now that she's elderly. My father died several years ago. Mom always heard Dad calling her name from the living room and talks about it often. She would go into the living room to ask him what he wanted, and he hadn't called her name. She still says it's her imagination. I had just moved into my first apartment. It was around 8:30 p.m. and I heard the doorknob moving like someone was putting a key in it and turning and knocking. At first I got really excited that my then boyfriend was home, but then realized it was only 8:30 and he was due home from work around 10:30. Once I looked out the kitchen window and didn't see his car or anyone's car I had known parked outside. That's when I panicked. The doorknob kept moving for a few more seconds and then stopped. A few minutes later, they had some piece of metal they were sticking between the door, trying to open the door. I freaked out at that point and locked myself in the bathroom with a knife and called 911. They tried to pry the door open for about 3 minutes before they stopped. The police surveyed the area and found an elderly man roaming around with a knife and a crowbar. He used to live in that apartment, and he wanted his stuff back that we stole when we moved in. I was told he was really delusional. I'm so thankful and glad I didn't answer the door once I realized it was no one I knew. To this day, my heart stops when someone knocks on my door. I was 14. It was an average night, around 9 p.m. Me and my little cousin are at his house. I'm babysitting for the night while my mom and aunt are shopping and my dad and uncle are at the movie theater. So we're sitting there, and I was feeling really strange. Something was wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it, so I just kept watching TV with my cousin. The feeling wasn't going away, so I got up and walked to the back door to lock it. When I came back through the kitchen, I saw what was causing my weird feeling. In the window, there was a very decrepit and homeless-looking man, just staring into the window, looking at my cousin. Protective mode, I pretended like I didn't see the guy, and I told my little cousin that we needed to go upstairs because our parents would be home soon, and they wouldn't want him to be staying up late. So I went upstairs and put him to bed, knowing damn well that there was a man outside that wanted in. I was about 125 pounds and 5'8" at the time, and I played football for my school. If I remember correctly, I went downstairs and straight into the kitchen and grabbed one of those meat tenderizing hammers, turned back to the window where I saw him before. Not there. Ran back to the front door and checked that it was locked. Both the deadbolt and the knob were locked. Ran back upstairs with my meat tenderizer and went into my cousin's room and sat down in front of the door. He asked me what I was doing, and I said that he didn't need to worry about it and that he should keep his head low. Called the cops, and then my dad and uncle. Cops would take half an hour, and my dad and uncle were 45 minutes away. Then I hear a window shatter and the sound of heavy boots walking around the main floor. I told my cousin to stay calm, hide under the covers, and to keep silent. I could hear the guy walking around downstairs. It was horrifying. I gripped that damn meat tenderizer and waited. About 5 minutes pass, and then I hear the boots walking upstairs. At this point, I was having a freaking heart attack. My cousin's door is no more than 10 feet from the stairs. I heard him opening the doors to my aunt and uncle's room. Then the bathroom. He walked back downstairs, and I heard him open the door to the basement. 15 minutes later, the police showed up and burst into the house. Turned out the guy was loose from a mental hospital 1 province away. I nearly had to battle a mental case when I was 14. At one point, I was no more than a wooden door and 10 feet away from him.